Hi there, Lindsay here, the Frugal Crafter. Today we're going to do an alcohol marker illustration. It's been an age since I've done one of these and I was really hankering to get out the markers. And by the way, the markers I'm using today are the Arctic's Oros markers. Now Arctic's came out with their line of Alp markers a year ago and they're celebrating their anniversary by offering a lot of great specials. So I'm going to link to those in case you want to check them out, in case you're in the market for some alcohol markers. And I'll talk about the markers a little bit more, but first I want to get into the tutorial, and I'm starting off sketching on some marker paper with a Col Erase pencil. Col Erase is a line of erasable pencils by Prismacolor. They're very affordable, and what I like about these, as opposed to other colored pencils, is I can sketch with them and then I can go over them with either watercolor without resisting the watercolor, or go over them with alcohol marker without worrying about them kind of picking up the wax and damaging the nib. They're just so perfect for these sketches underneath your main drawing. You can choose a color that's going to blend in. You could choose a color that's going to stand out and be more contrasted. If you make a big mistake, you can erase the pencil lines. So for that reason, I really like using these for my under drawings, and I love that they're very affordable. I'll link to those in the video description. You can always walk into an art supply store, generally if they have a good pencil selection, and buy any of the colors of the Col Erase line individually. You definitely can order them individually online, but I actually like having the set of 12 or 24. I have the 24 set. I like that because then I can choose a color that is not going to be obtrusive in my final sketch. I choose something that I think is just going to almost disappear as I keep working over it with my media. Now I'm going over with shades of yellow, the really pale yellows, and what I like about these markers is that they do have a lot of pastel tones. So the way the Arctic's Alp and Arctic's Oros markers are sold are in multi-packs. Now there are what I would recommend, my recommendations for the best deal on these markers is to start off with the 80 set, which is an assortment set. It has a good range of different colors to get you started. And then I would recommend the 90 assorted set, because the 90 assorted set, aside from a colorless blender, isn't going to duplicate any of the colors in the 80 set. It's going to give you more pastels. It's going to use some more really dark tones and some more grays. And then if you like to do characters, if you like to draw people, then you can add on the skin tone set, which is a set of 36, I believe, and you're not going to get any duplicates there. It's nice because you can kind of save up, get a pack, see if you like them, and then you can buy another pack, not double up anything. I like that versus like buying a set of 12 and then deciding you really like them, then buying a larger set and then you have 12 duplicates. You know what I mean? So I kind of think it's fun when companies do that. There aren't too many companies that do, but I really, really like that way of doing business. Now I am working on a sketchbook that is compatible with markers, but it's not like a bleed proof marker paper. So I did put a piece of scratch paper in between the page I'm working on and the next page, so it didn't bleed on to the following page. It will bleed onto the back though if you're using marker paper. Anything except for the render sketchbook, pretty much it's going to bleed through to the back of the page. So keep that in mind. If you don't like that to happen in your sketchbook, then maybe use like a loose sheet of paper. And I'll link to all the supplies that I use in the video description, including the markers, which are going to be on special this week. So if you're in the market for some markers, you might want to check them out. Now the line of markers I'm using are the Arctic's Oros, and the Oros have a chisel tip on one end and a brush tip on the other, kind of like the Copic sketch. The other line they have is the Alp markers, and those feature a bullet tip on one end and a chisel tip on the other. And the Alp markers are a bit cheaper because they have a bullet tip instead of a brush tip. And as you know, if you've been doing markers, those brush tips get expensive. So anytime you've got a marker with a brush tip, it's usually a little bit more. But they are definitely an affordable alternative to the pricier markers such as Copic, and I highly recommend them if you're in the market for something like that. These actually come with marker bags to store them in, but they come with a gridded marker stand as well. So if you want to keep your markers in a specific order, it's really helpful. So here I'm just building up color on the tea bag. I decided to do kind of a light grayish blue and then add the shadows with a darker blue. And now I'm going over it with a blue gray to kind of tone that down and get that a little bit darker. So with markers, or alcohol markers, because they're transparent, kind of like watercolors, you can just keep layering up and layering up until you achieve the desired value of color. So keep that in mind. I almost think that having lighter tones is more useful because you can keep layering them up to get them darker. In fact, when I started my marker journey, now this was probably about oh man, probably about 15 years ago, I started off with Sharpies and Bic markets, and those came in really vibrant colors. I think they had like 36 colors. And then what I would do is like, I would go into the art supply store and I would buy really, really pale shades. And it was Prismacolor that our local store carried, and another store carried a Pro Marker. I would just buy one at a time, pretty much really pale shade. And because you can blend out with those paler shades, and that's how I built my collection. But those pale shades, man, those were the key to getting really nice marker renderings. So keep that in mind when you are shopping for markers. Those pale shades are what's going to make blending look really good. It's what's going to make your artwork easier to control. It's going to make your shading a lot easier to control, and you can keep building those up to get more layers of color. Obviously, if you want, bright cherry red, you're going to want that bright red marker. But if you're doing like the highlights on a cherry, for instance, you're going to want great, like light grays and light peaches and corals and things. So, keep that in mind. If you've struggled with markers and you just can't seem to get them to work out right for you, maybe you don't have enough really light tones, and you might want to consider getting some really pale tones. Now, another way you can purchase the markers is in color family packs. So you can get a pack that's all like shades of blue, a pack that's all shades of pink and reds, a pack that's all grays. So you can do that as well if you have a collection of markers already, but you're really lacking like purples, or you're lacking reds or something like that, or skin tones. So they do give you several different ways to purchase some markers. But if you get the color packs, like the all purples, all blues, etc., you're going to have doubles between those 80 and 90 sets. So that's why I recommend, if you can swing it, to start with an 80 and then a 90 and then a 36 set. But that's just my opinion. You can do whatever you want. You know what your needs are. Now here I'm going in with some darker kind of golden yellow, and I'm putting in the shadows and the darker areas that I see on the rind. And see how I'm stippling there? I'm tapping because I want to get that citrus peel texture. So, keep that in mind, because markers are transparent. Everything you put down, you're going to see it in the layers that you put over it. So be very specific with your marks, and be very, I don't want to say cautious, deliberate. Be very deliberate with your marks. If this was a watercolor, if we made a boo-boo, we could scrub it out. We could get a scrubber brush, just wet it, brush over it with water, and blot it off. You can't really do that with alcohol markers. You can go in with a clear blending marker and bleach out an area, but it's better just to put down your marks deliberately and not have too many mistakes to clean up, because it will get frustrating if you have to do too much of that. Now, what I'm doing with that kind of a tan color, that tan golden ochre color, I am just putting in a very loose representation of the kind of golden floral pattern on the outside of my dish. I know I've got a little flat spot on the edge of that dish, and this is marker, so there's no going back. We're going to be living with that, and that's okay, because it's just a fun sketch in my sketchbook. I'm going in with, I'm using that blue-gray again. I like that for toning down that blue on the tea bag, but it's also really nice for adding some shading tones on the lemons. Oh, something I want to mention, that your marker, a couple things I want to mention. One thing, alcohol markers, I think, have the steepest learning curve to any art media I've ever used. So it's kind of tricky. And a viewer of mine gave me the best analogy once. His name is Dean, and he said, using chisel tip markers is like learning how to drive a standard car, and using the brush tips was like driving an automatic. So that learning curve, it's way steeper if you have the chisel and the bullet nibs. So I will say, if you want an easier time of learning markers, go with the brush tip marker. They blend better. I learned on chisel bullet tips because that's all that I knew about when I first started. Copics weren't really big here yet, and I didn't know about them. So I'm fine using chisel tip, but I'm telling you, brush tips are easier. So cut yourself some slack. You will really appreciate it. Now, this here is a gold pen. It's an Arteza gold marker. It's actually held up really well. I've had it for a few years and it hasn't frayed, but I don't use it all the time. But anyway, I like that for little additions, because it's very opaque, so it's good for putting those words on the tea bag. I use it over watercolor too. It's just a really handy pen to have. A gold gel pen would work fine. It would just be a little thinner. And I'm also using a white gel pen to do just some of the details and some of the highlights and whatnot. And what was the other thing I was going to mention about alcohol markers? Maybe that was it. Oh, they're transparent, so, whatever you put down, you're going to see in the layers to follow. So keep that in mind. Don't let your colors get too dark too early, and have fun. Have fun, man. You'll make mistakes. You will make hot messes when you're learning to do alcohol markers, but have fun with it and don't get discouraged and keep it up because it has a steep learning curve. It's difficult, but you will get it. It's just the planning, I think, is the real challenge when it comes to alcohol markers. But anyway, I will link all the things I use down below. I have a video on alcohol marker basics. It's a 2-part video. Check that out if you're new. I think that would really help you as well. I'll try to remember to link that in the video description. But there you have it. I hope you enjoyed this sketch. I had a fun time creating it, and I want to thank you so much for watching. Until next time, happy crafting.